It didn't weaken me at all.
It might have.
No. No, I was at full strength and you beat me.
Why not Superman? Isn't this his fight too?
Kara just defeated me. She's the champion of Earth.
I'm humbled by you. You are so much stronger than me.
Stronger than I ever will be. You really are so much stronger than me, Kara. Every time we're together, I see it. The world doesn't need Superman if it has Supergirl.
Hey guys, I'm here. If you guys have been around the channel for a while, you already know this, but if you're new here, we've been covering the DC Arrowverse for quite some time, especially after Crisis on Infinite Earths. I've been doing live coverage on every episode following that event for Black Lightning, Legends of Tomorrow, The Flash, Arrow, up until its end. Reactions to some of these as well, Supergirl and all of that, as well as looking forward to all the newcomers like Superman and Lois coming around the corner. But we got a huge announcement that came out earlier today to rock and shake the Arrowverse further, and that is the cancellation of Supergirl. And honestly, this upcoming season, season 6, is going to be the final season. It's going to be an extended season, but honestly, this conclusion has been a long time coming, if you ask me. And I think a lot of people have been feeling that way as well. The series prime has been well behind it. I think it really kind of peaked with the storylines in season 2 and season 3. Had a fairly strong season 1. But the show itself, the writing, it just could not sustain it. The characters, I love. This is my least favorite DC show. I will admit it here. If you haven't heard me talk about it or rant about the show in any of my live streams, I'm fairly open about it. I think this show is poorly written. It is ham-fisted with so many of its messages, but its characters I still love. The cast I still love. Melissa Benoist in this role as Kara Danvers, I adore. Tyler Leigh as Alex. Everybody in this. Jesse Rath became one of my favorite characters in the DC Arrowverse whatsoever with his brainy. Just the way he plays the character. There's a lot of things I did like about the show, but they could not write compelling stories. A lot of our favorite characters got lost to the wayside, and the ratings for the show have just been continually tanking up until this last season. Season 5 was such a letdown. Like, oh my God, one of the worst seasons of television I've seen. Like, and I think that's saying something. The writing was just poor, and there was some good setups that they had coming out of Crisis on Infinite Earths. The first 2 episodes or so, it gave some promise, some energy to everything, and then just everything after was just a major letdown. The relationships, where they were going, people they were taking in and out and off of the show. A lot of our favorites are gone, and it didn't help that it got cut short because of COVID. They didn't actually get to film the actual intended finale, so a lot of the situations going on with Obsidian, with Leviathan and all that's going to be wrapped up into season 6. Season 6 is going to be an extended season order, much like with The Flash is what they're doing. They're kind of giving us a little bit of a longer run season, since they're kind of compacting a lot of the storylines that they intended to be in the future seasons, along with what was not wrapped up in the prior season because of the COVID pandemic. So it's going to be a little bit of a different thing happening here in the future, but I just think it's, I don't know. I just feel like it was a long time coming. And honestly, I feel like it should have been said and done a long time ago. And they're trying to go out early. From the reports that we're seeing here, it was a collective decision from Warner Brothers to the CW, Greg Berlanti and Melissa herself, kind of talking about this, kind of in the way that Arrow came to a conclusion after some mixed seasons there towards the end. And they were like, all right, while we still have our heads above water, let's go out gracefully. And I think that's what Supergirl wants to do here with this season that they're setting up. That they're already kind of starting to hype out this season as being a good kind of send off exit, really trying to give it their go. And there's a little statement here from Melissa that she posted to her Instagram that I just kind of wanted to read too. It's like, to say that it has been an honor portraying this iconic character would be a massive understatement. Seeing the incredible impact the show has had on young girls around the world has left me humbled, and speechless. She's had an impact on me too. She's taught me strength that I didn't know that I had, to find hope in the darkest of places, and that we are stronger when we're united. What she stands for pushes all of us to be better. She has changed my life for the better, and I'm forever grateful. I'm so excited that we get to plan our conclusion to this amazing journey, and I cannot wait for you to see what we have in store. I promise we're going to make it one hell of a final season. So that's something that I at least am glad that they didn't do. Is they're letting them know ahead of time, hey guys, this is your final season. Wrap things up, write it to your heart's content, do it the way you want to do it. And that's something I'm a little spiteful about in some other ways, because you have people like Netflix who are, they're just like, all right, that didn't do so hot. Let's just cancel it and not let you finish the story. Like they just canceled Age of Resistance, the Dark Crystal spin-off prequel, without wrapping that story up. So anybody that was invested in that, they're not even going to get a conclusion. There's not even going to be a follow-through. There's not, at least not in that medium. Maybe in a comic book, maybe something down the line will explain that further. But that happens a lot here lately, where a show picks up a following, and sometimes they don't get to go out in a way that's satisfying to the people that have been following it up until that point. But I'm not gonna lie, I love the character, and I'm sure we'll see these characters pop back in and out in some of the crossovers, maybe as guest appearances on some of the other shows, especially in Superman and Lois. There's plenty of opportunities for her character to show up on there. But there are some questions being raised about what's going on in the CW verse that they are now building out, trying to rebrand the Arrowverse with Superman and Lois. There's some characters we've seen before that are being recast from some of the casting calls going out. Some rumors, of course, nothing confirmed, but there's a lot of elements that seem like they might kind of be rebooting and retconning some things from Supergirl, especially since the universe itself has kind of already done that. As we are in this post-crisis world, there's some events that have changed. There's some things that may not have happened that happened before in the previous timeline from seasons 1 through 4 of Supergirl could be retconned and removed for continuity now that the timeline has been reset after the events of Crisis on Infinite Earths. So it's really curious to see how they're gonna play this off, what they're gonna do from here, and how that's all gonna be said and done at the end of the day. For me personally, one of my biggest pet peeves about the show was just how disrespectful they handled the Superman character, which is another reason I think it's kind of funny to see it kind of fade out. And not that funny in a way that I'm like wanted these people to lose their jobs or anything like that, that I wanted this show to be canceled. When I think DC is not doing well, when I don't think there's a show performing the way it should be performing or respecting the characters that should be respected, I hope for it to improve. I hope for it to get better. I hope for it to learn from its mistakes, from what it's getting wrong, and grow and succeed and do these things right. And Supergirl is just one of those shows that never learned. Eventually, they started avoiding the questions altogether, the topics altogether, until some of the crossovers where these characters were brought in and to interact with her, Superman, and others. And it's just constantly elevating one of the other by deprecating the other. It's just like, it's always rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, it's not, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to get into, that's a whole other rant, man. There's a lot of things that I think the show did really well. There's a lot more things than it got right that I think it could have improved on to keep its steam going. I mean, Arrow, Flash, both are outliving this show now at this point, and it started around the same time as the Flash. And to see where it goes from here, I don't know. Who's to say what's going to happen with Batwoman too? At least with that, they're kind of giving it a second chance with this whole new makeover that they're giving it. And at least with that one, I think that makes sense. There's like, maybe we can salvage it from here, because it was also dipping in ratings too. It's Supergirl and Batwoman were two of the lowest rated shows out of this entire DC universe that they have over on the CW. And with Batwoman being just right out of the gate, they might be able to salvage that with some creative decisions, some switcheroos, even though a lot of us are still kind of a little irritated that they just kind of wrote Kate out completely. it's going to be a whole different world moving forward to see how they grow that and what they do too with Superman and Lois and how they kind of carry that character forward out of the shadow of Supergirl and see with her not being around, how's that going to affect the character development, the portrayal of Clark. And I like Tyler Hoechlin. Like even in Supergirl, I thought he represented all the core elements of a good Superman, both as Clark and as the man in the cape. But it's just the way that they treated him was always as a stepping stool to lift up our main character. He, as John Campea likes to call him, he's a jobber. And that's how he's treated, which is a wrestling term. Somebody who comes in just to lose to make somebody else look great. And that's all it ever was. And it was always so straightforward. There was no nuance to it. And again, it's one of the few shows that I actually just quit watching until Crisis on Infinite Earths was announced. And I was like, okay, if I'm going to go into this, I'm going to catch up on all of these shows. And that was the reason that I actually picked back up, returned to Supergirl and watched it. It was a little bit of a chore, but I mean, it gave me some good moments too. Like I said, these characters, these actors, the actresses, everybody involved on screen, I thought were amazing. It's the people behind the scenes that just did not know how to make the show work or continue working. And it really comes to show in these last couple of seasons, especially this last season 5. It was so painful to get through and so boring to watch, and nothing happened. And we really still, at this point, at 19 episodes into the season, are left with so many questions about everything that's been going on. So again, it's not surprising to me that they're going to be cutting this short. I think it was a long time coming. I think we all knew it was around the corner. But I always, like I said, I just want these shows to succeed. It makes me sad when something like this happens because there's ways to learn, there's ways to adapt, and there's ways to like just evolve and move forward and do things better. And the show just didn't, and this is where we're at. I hope they go out gracefully. I hope this season is just leagues better than what we had in season 5. That's all we can hope for. Hope for the best, and I wish the best to this cast. And I do hope that even beyond season 6, we get to see them again in maybe future crossover events, just little cameos here and there. No one's ever really gone, man. A line I'll take from just, again, another train wreck of a series, but oh my God. Anyway, I don't know, man. I mean, they bring back Wally here and there, and he's not a series regular. You know, it's always, the door's always open to see these characters again, and I hope we do, because I think they were great choices, great representations of the character, but just not given the proper materials to work with it all the time. So, what do you guys think about this news? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I know plenty of people that love this show that are probably going to hate me shitting on it like this, but it's my opinion and I'll own it. Thank you guys so much. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.